that line, hitting top speed down this harbour.
They've got a minute 20 up their sleeve now.
Okay, Bo Jest on left with that insignia on the mainsail. There's Info Track. There's Stan Honey aboard Comanche. Owner Jim Cooney on the right. Jimmy Spithill.
Watch Info Track, that's it.
He looks calm, Spithill. He's just saying, watch Info Track. He's the only boat that can come down and make life difficult for him. Still Wild Oats on port tack, coming right up towards this windward end of the line. 55 seconds to go. The starting gun to be fired by Gordon Ingate.
And as you were just listening to the real race, they're a couple of seconds behind us. But here, welcome to the Sydney Hobart Volvo 2018 start. 10 seconds to go. I'm not positioned that well, but just a little bit off the line. A couple of seconds is nothing to sneeze at, as Best Guess goes in front of me there. And I finally get across the line. You'll notice that my jib is up at this moment in time, and I'm quite happy with that. And then, well, actually that's not the jib, maybe it is the jib, as I trim up. But the reason I'm mentioning the jib is because at some point in time the jib auto changes from jib to code O, and the settings in this race don't allow auto sail or auto change of sail. So I fix up the jib, and looking around, and when I change it to keep my wind heading, it suddenly changes it to the code O, which is very, very unfortunate, because that's not what I want. And there's bug 1001 in Sailaway. So I'm a bit perplexed at this moment in time in race. I think, what the hell's the code O doing? And realize that I need to change. So I do that, and then we'll speed off up to the heads and the first mark. This first little stint I've cut down a little bit, only because it's a bit of a drag race. So there's finally the jib up, and we'll start rocketing up towards that mark, which is at the heads of Sydney. So I've got a couple of boats around us. Pacific Sea Cow, aka Calypso, is in front of us, and as we just go past Tuesday there, and we try to keep her to the windward side of the course. And just switching back and forward between the real race and what I'm doing, keeping heading to the wind, and just let the boat get up there. I decided to then change to keep her heading and do some trim work. I really find that sometimes it's best to have it on auto wind and sometimes on auto heading. Anyway, probably about 8 or 9 minutes later, heading up to the first mark. So it doesn't take very long to get from the harbour up to the point. And we'll notice that Disco, Disco and then Peter Gregg and then Shogun go around the mark first. Calypso is still in front of me, and that boat will make a turn, I think. Or does she? No, it looks like she maintains angle, whereas I've decided that I want to go back towards the headland, and I tack across. So Stormboy is after me. And so I probably came around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, probably about 5th there, which not too bad. As we get into a bit of a 3 times action. Pacific on Calypso did decide to tack across after me, and this is the little tacking leg where I made up a couple of spaces or places. So not getting too close to the headland there, and we've got boats all around us. Not as close as that little shot. And I tack back again with the wind. And already you can see that I feel like I've made up a couple of places just by that first tack. So Calypso has also done very well. Shogun is lost a little bit by going a little bit to northeast. As I tack in front of Calypso there. We all don't want to crash our boats into other people. It's good to be racing with good people like that. As I come back across, and I believe that is Shogun behind me there. As Peter Gregg and Disco Infidel still lead the race, and heading to the mark. As we slow down again for me to get there. So Disco is around first. Calypso is just behind me there. Peter Gregg goes around in 22:31, and I'm at on the bow of my boat here, getting as close to the mark as I can. My AWA is down in the 19s, 18s, so not very fast for me. Just had to get around and turn south. From here, Disco and I decided to go out a little bit wide of the course. Calypso, Peter Gregg, Stormboy all went much closer to the coast. And eventually, after about an hour or so of going wide, I turned back towards the coast again, just to get a little slightly better angle. It's only a matter of 1 or 2 degrees, but sometimes that makes a little bit of difference in your speed. And often it's very important to do that at the beginning of the mark, because obviously you can make more of an angle at the beginning rather than if you do it, 2 or 3 hours into the leg. It takes a lot longer to get out to that angle that you require. So Calypso, just off my port there, little cut, and just to see the race leaders, third to me at the moment. So I made up 2 or 3 places, and as you can see, about 30 minutes later, 20 minutes later, sorry, those guys are heading more south, whereas Disco and I are heading much more to the east, or southeast. So I can see Disco off there, and I was also quickly looking at other sites at the same time. And then many hours later, but just before I went to sleep, and then the next morning. So heading towards Bass Strait now with Orbiter, Slow-Mo, Shogun out to the east, Calypso, Vitali, Stormboy, and Peter Gregg, Peter on Sea, Disco and Fidel, and Highlander all trailing a little bit. I couldn't see Chris and Sailaway, but he's to my east a little bit. Don't know what's wrong with the map there. And then finally on Windy, just plotting a little course to show you where I'm going to be heading over the next couple of hours. So a little bit of a jibing action here just to get across. Probably even go a little bit more than that, and then down to Tasmania. So that's the plan for the day. I'll come back for the race finish in the next episode.